Hey, good morning. It is Tuesday and we are going to start with our morning reading. Sometimes we get to this, sometimes we don't. We just did our Bible verses, didn't we? So we have some Duplo blocks out on the main carpet. Okay, I'll show you that in a second, but we are going to try our very best to sit and listen to the other second half of Hudson Taylor. We're reading through that book. Where it went, I don't know. Oh, here it is. Lost it. Yeah, that's fine. So we're reading through this right here. It's Deep in the Heart of China, and it's taking us a little while. This is a bit of a heavy book, so I have to ask a lot of questions and keep them along with me. So we're gonna go ahead and do the second half of the chapter. So we did the first half of the chapter. It was on Friday, so today's Tuesday, so we're just getting back to it. So we're gonna try that, and the kids have Duplo blocks they can fiddle with, and they just need to be in this area. So I'm gonna try to get them contained and start that up. All right, so we're gonna try to begin on this. We're on chapter 12. Chapter 12, Christian Heroes Then and Now. The Light of the Enemy. And we read through page 147 through 151, but I usually backtrack just a little bit to kind of bring everyone back into the story. So that's what we're going to do and get started. All right, sometimes starting is the hard part. I'm kicking my feet up. My recliner. Mommy sat down today, mark it down. First time for everything. Anyway, so we're here on page 151. And while I read with the kids, now they're still getting ready, so I'm not wasting any of their time. So I figured I would talk to you. As I'm reading, I do a couple things that I did in the classroom and that I've seen in elementary classrooms. I have some amazing, like 5 million star teachers that I know and I've worked with in the past. I'm very blessed to have learned beside them, and they're still teaching at the, we have a Christian academy.
I'm gonna wait.
Oh, I like that. They're still building their projects. I'm waiting for my son to make his selections for Duplo blocks. But anyway, I have gleaned a lot of tips from them, especially in the elementary year, the ed type teachers. So it's been good. So here we have our story, and I already told you it's a bit heavy. So I do ask a lot of questions. Now, I've mentioned this before, and I know it's like not a new teacher tip, but ask the question, then the name the student, or if you're doing girls, or you're doing boys, or you're doing row 1, row 2. Of course, we don't have that in our homeschool, but if you're wearing blue, you know, what is Hudson Taylor's, I don't know, wife's name? If you're wearing blue. You're wearing blue? See, my sons are a bit, my kids are a bit used to it, so they think I'm asking them right now. Yeah, you can sit with me. I'm just talking to my friends. So, I do that, and let's see, if we're going through, it says, over and over, Hudson asked himself the question, why wasn't someone doing something? I would pause, or I could do like, what do you think? Oh, we're not gonna make faces. We could make silly faces at our friends. I could ask a what do you think type thing. We had some books in the past that, okay, can I talk to my friends?
Yeah.
Okay, you go do your Duplo blocks. We're gonna read in a second. No, you can't get in the camera, okay? I know they love the camera.
So, Mommy.
I am funny. So I'll ask a what do you think? There's some books that we have at my mother-in-law's, and they're excellent. They're question books, and it's already written out. But because I'm reading the story, I can kind of come up with it on my own. Why wasn't someone doing something? And as he thought about it, the question slowly, quietly turned itself around in his mind. Like, what do you think he was thinking? Don't know. When we did this the other day, we finished this page now that I remember it. He said afterwards, and my son will usually come up with it or something to the equivalent or even better than what the author wrote. And Hudson Taylor said, why aren't I doing something? Anyway, so as you're reading through, keep their attention, show them the pictures, ask them questions. If they had a copy of this, like what I would do in the classroom and what I've done in the classroom in the past when I was teaching at our Christian academy, I would pause, like, Hudson could hardly believe, and then they'd finish the sentence, what he was hearing, all the kids would say. So you know that they're following along with you, they're actually engaged in the lesson, they're reading along with you while you're reading aloud, and so on and so forth. But because my kids don't have a copy of this, now we do have books we have double copies of, which I love to do that, especially if they're learning how to read, and I can read along with them. Let's see. I would do those tips. I would ask them a question, I would pause, where do you think, all right? There would be, okay, with that kind of attitude, this is what Hudson Taylor said, there would be no missionaries left in, where do you think? China. So there's something that they would have already picked up, but it kind of keeps them along and they get to, you know, stay with you in the reading. So we're actually going to start for real because we have all of our members with us, yes? Yes. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are here, and they're all building Duplo creations, quietly clicking the blocks, right guys? We're gonna listen to the second half of this chapter. Oh, and I didn't mention, I have my good old friend here. Morning reading time, missionary story, Duplo blocks with the kids. It's only a couple minutes to 9. 8:37. Oh, we're doing excellent. And I'm gonna get this story going. I'm gonna kick my feet up because Mama needs to have a little bit of relaxation in her day. So we're gonna begin, and I hope you can listen along and learn something, our techniques that we use for reading aloud with little children. Okay, all right, Hudson could hardly believe what he was hearing. With that kind of attitude, there'd be no missionaries left in China in a few years. And just at the time when the country was really beginning to open up, they had to keep sending missionaries. Every month, more than 1 million Chinese people died without ever hearing about Jesus Christ. That's very sad. Over and over, Hudson asked himself the questions, why hasn't someone done something? As he thought about it, the question slowly turned itself around in his mind. What was he thinking? Remember we read this last time? You know what he thought? He said, why aren't I doing something? Sometimes we see a need, and what happens? We say, someone needs to do that. What about if the laundry is dirty? Natalie? Yeah. What if, let's say, there's trash on the floor, Mason? Usually we say, someone else needs to pick that up, right? But that's not so. We should do our part. What's that Patch the Pirate song? Initiative. Yep, take the initiative. Go ahead and see a need, fill a need, like Pastor says. All right, here's the next page. Deep in his heart, he struggled with the answer. He knew there was no one in England better suited to recruit a group of missionaries to move into the heart of China than he and his wife. Who was that? Do you remember? Maria. But he did not want the responsibility for other people's lives. It was too great a load for him to bear. Having others rely on him for their safety and guidance? On his return to China, Dr. Parker had fallen off a horse into an icy river and drowned. Poor Mr. Dr. Parker. Remember, he had so much happen to him. Remember, his wife died, and then he left, and then he came back, and he had a new wife, and he kept working alongside Hudson Taylor. Now he went to China, fell off a horse into the icy river, and died. But he went to heaven, so that's good. But that is sad. One of the 6 missionaries Hudson had recruited and sent to Ningpo had contracted cholera and died. Oh my goodness, how discouraging. If you were Hudson Taylor, would you be very encouraged right now? Natalie M? What did I say? Look at me. If you cannot listen, you cannot do Duplo blocks. Look at me. I'll tell you one more time. Ready? If you were Hudson Taylor, would you be very encouraged right now with all your friends going to heaven? Well, it's good that they're going to heaven, but they're not. They're dying. Even his good friend John Jones had become so sick that he had to return to England on the voyage home. Can you guess? What? What happened to the ship? Do you think something bad happened? Probably drowned. What do you think happened? Did they hit a rock or something? Maybe it sinked. It sunk. Okay, let's see. Let's see what it said. On the voyage. Yep, go. Listen. Are we supposed to, Mason? Are we supposed to be quiet? Okay, listen to what happened to the ship. On the voyage home, he died, and now lay buried in some faraway forgotten island. Such sad news made Hudson long to be in China to help and to encourage those left working there. But how could he accept the responsibility of the lives of others who might go? Now, he would feel bad if something happened to a missionary that went out there, yes? But is not necessary. Not necessary. Mason, look at me. You got it. Mason, you want to sit next to mommy and not have block time? Okay. Now, who is in control of keeping us safe? Right. But sometimes when we're involved in helping people, like Natalie, if I sent you across the street to go help our neighbor over there and then you got hurt, is that my fault? No, but because I sent you over there and that was something that I was part of, like Hudson Taylor was saying, he would feel responsible for a problem that could have happened.
What's that here? Yippee!
Yeah. All right, so let's keep going. Hudson was very stressed out. Would you be stressed out? He felt caught in the middle. Part of him wanted to organize an all-out missionary assault on China. Did that mean that the missionaries were going to go fight?
Yes.
What does assault mean?
I don't know.
It's like a strong show of, here would be a strong show of missionaries to go to China. But another part of him was too scared to ask people to go, knowing he would be responsible for them. Oh, wait, now to talk to the camera, okay? Hudson became very stressed over the whole, are you obeying?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, you're not.
Okay.
You're not supposed to talk to the camera. Those are our friends. You catch up all over your face.
Yes, I know that.
Mason, go get a puppet and the puppet can talk, not your mouth.
I don't have one.
Go get a stuffy. You can do a puppet show while mommy reads. You can do a puppet show. Okay, go get a blanket. Pick up this.
A puppet show.
You pick up this. Right. Okay, give Grayson all the blocks. Reworking it. We're having a very wily morning, but the skill, and I'm not saying I'm very skilled at this, but just a skill of a homeschool mom is that you can adjust and you can read your kids that they need to do something different. So my son Mason was here trying, as you saw, trying to mouth the words as I was doing it. So I'm kind of trying to reorder him. Okay, you have to be behind there. No pushing, no shoving. So we're going to set up a puppet show, and maybe they can do that for a little bit while they listen. So we'll see how this goes. also the skill of a homeschool mom is being patient. Very patient. But I'm taking this time to decompress. Where's your stuffy? We probably need to make some puppets, don't we? I don't think we're gonna get to that today, but we need to have puppets so that we can, when we are wanting to talk, when we are wanting to pee in the camera, we can have our puppets do that instead. We can have our puppets do their talking, being silent puppets. Oh, were you a ghosty? Mason, go get a stuffy. Okay, if you're not gonna play puppets, you're gonna have to sit and do blocks. This may seem a bit chaotic, but honestly, this is all right. If you don't know my story, I don't say it every blessed video, but I have 4 kids. My oldest is 8, newly 8, and I have a new 6-year-old. She just turned last month, end of last month. Okay, not ghosty, get puppety. Oh my goodness. Anyway, and so it's 8, 6, 4, 2. Thank you, sweetheart. She helps me. So they're all little, and to try to have them all in one place is a challenge, but we do try. We do try. And I think we're doing a fantastic job. I know other people's homeschool looks different, but this is the way we kind of roll. Instead of avoiding reading out loud all the time,
I'm ready.
we try to adjust. So our puppet show is ready. I'll try to give you a little shot of that. All right, so the puppets have to be quiet while mommy reads, so they can act it out. There's not going to be any fighting. Any naughty puppets have to have the puppet owners come out. Oh, there's another ghost. All right, I'm going to start reading and you're going to get started, okay? No fighting. What happens if you fight and fuss? You get ejected from the puppet club. Yes, that's correct. All right, let the puppets begin. Remember, Hudson Taylor's a little upset.
Yep.
Oh no, we lost our space. Oh no, what shall we do? Find it, find it. I found it. Hudson became very stressed over the whole matter. You gonna do puppets?
Yep.
Which one's Hudson Taylor? Which puppet's Hudson Taylor? Oh, there he is, okay. He became stressed over the whole matter. He couldn't seem to sleep or eat, and his health began to deteriorate again. Oh, if we know anything about Hudson Taylor, what was with his health? All right, I got the puppet show on. You go ahead and do it.
What do we do?
Maria could see the strain on her husband, and she was pleased when he announced he was going to Bridgeton to rest. He would stay with Dr. Berger, the man who had begun supporting the hospital work in Ningpo right at the time they ran out of money. Maria hoped, where's Maria?
No, Maria.
Maria hoped the sea and air in Christian fellowship would help clear Hudson's mind. That'd be nice to go to the ocean, don't you think?
Yes.
He would stay with Dr. Berger, the man who had begun supporting the hospital work in Ningpo right at the time they ran out of money. Maria hoped the sea air would help. Okay. Unfortunately, the large church filled with happy, rich Christians. Why would that be bad?
I don't know.
Happy, rich Christians. It says unfortunately. Fortunately would be a positive thing. Unfortunately, the large church filled with happy, healthy, rich Christians that had the opposite effect on Hudson. He found it, listen, it's going to answer the question. He found it hard to sit and listen to people singing about God and their salvation while not seeming to care for others. What are Christians supposed to do?
Obey God.
Yes. How are they supposed to treat their neighbor? How are they supposed to treat others? It says they didn't care whether others went to eternal death without ever hearing the gospel. They didn't care about people getting saved. That hurt Hudson's heart. Hudson could no longer stand to be in the service. He slipped out the side door, and as the organ music faded behind him, he walked down to Bridgeton Beach. He took off his shoes and socks and waded into the water. Here's another tip. They're in their own imagination land. I'm going to get quieter, so they really need to listen. Natalie Ann Marie. He slipped. Where did Hudson Taylor go? Where did Hudson Taylor go, Mason? He left the church. Where did he go? He took off his shoes and socks and waded into the water. Where do you think he went?
Into the water.
He went into the water. He went to the beach. His heart was tossed and turned as the seaweed floating in the surf. He had to resolve the struggle he felt inside. As the waves lapped around his feet, the thought suddenly occurred to him. What do you think he was thinking about? What was the worst thing that would happen to a missionary in his care? What if he took a group of missionaries back to China and they all died? How bad would that be in the light of eternity? They would all go straight to heaven. And if as a result of their work and sacrifice, only one, even just one Christian or Chinese person turned to Christ, wouldn't that be worthwhile? One person getting saved? Strangely, this backward way of looking at things comforted Hudson in the light of eternity. That's the name of the chapter, remember?
Yeah.
There was no fate worse than for Chinese people to never hear the gospel. Is there a worse fate than not hearing the gospel?
No.
As he thought about all this, his mind began to clear. If each missionary was obeying God in going to China, the responsibility for what happened rested with God and not with Hudson Taylor. Tears of joy slid down his cheeks. The answer to his struggle was so simple. He was going to do what he felt God was calling him to do, and he would trust that others exercise the same obedience. Standing in ankle-deep water on Bridgeton Beach, Hudson prayed and asked God to rise up. He's going to ask for a certain number. 24 workers for China. Then he pulled a pencil from his pocket and wrote in the back of his Bible. He wrote down his prayer request. Hanson, what prayer request did he have? How many missionaries? For what? 24. He prayed for 24 willing, skillful workers. See how he prayed? Specifically, willful, skillful laborers at Bridgeton on June 25th, 1865. Stop. The next day he returned to London, a new man. The inner conflict was settled. It was the time to move forward. Now he had to prepare for what God wanted him to do. He went to the London and County Bank and with £10 opened a bank account in the name of China Inland Mission. Yes! All right, so he founded China Inland Mission. Do you remember how much money he put in the bank? Do you remember in that country they call it not dollars but pounds? How much money did he have? 10 pounds. I'll have to look at the conversion on that. Next, Hudson took all the information he'd gathered together to try to convince existing missionaries to join his plan, and he put it into a booklet. He called the booklet China's Spiritual Need and Claims. So he wrote a book. The booklet set out plainly how 400 million Chinese had never heard the gospel. Yet they had the right to hear it, and Christians in other lands around the world had a duty to follow Jesus' command to go into all the world and preach the gospel. Remember that's the Great Commission?
Yes.
Yeah. The booklet made many Christians feel uncomfortable. Why do you think the booklet made many Christians feel uncomfortable?
No.
Do you think they want to hear stuff that they don't want to do?
I know.
Hanson. Oh, wow. All right, so we did pretty good. We got to bottom of 154, and it's a natural stopping place. Hudson Taylor just wrote a booklet, and the booklet made many Christians feel uncomfortable, and I asked them the question about that, and we talked a little bit about it. Anyways, so that's a lot with like this book, but the technique is there. I don't know if this is unique. It probably isn't. But I wanted to share because it really helps. And today was an extra squirrely day, so you can see there was adjustments made. The reading did still happen, but we're not going to push forward to do any more right now. They're actually trying to get second breakfast. Anybody else have to deal with that? Or am I the only one? We had ham and egg scramblers, but it didn't seem to be a big hit. We just fry up some ham that we already had from a ham bake that we had, cubed it up, fried that up, and scrambled eggs in it. And it seemed like they ate it. It doesn't seem like it even stuck to their bellies, like it, you know, whatever. So they're trying to get some cereal now. We'll see how that goes. But for our reading today, we're finished with that morning reading. We'll probably pick it up this afternoon if they need something to calm them down before nap or resting time. But that's that. I hope that you were able to glean some tips and tricks that can help you if you're in a funk or needing something to change. Sorry for all the real life noise. Actually not sorry, because this isn't too bad. If you know what I'm talking about, put a little thumbs up below. And thank you so much for joining me on Mind Your Matters. And here where we just want to mind our matters better so that we can spend time on what truly matters. And some tips on reading out loud with your children, young children. I've got 8, 6, 4, 2. I did it. Go me. Anyway, would you please just hit that little like button right now. You can do it while you're on the screen. It won't stop the video. Also subscribe. You can also do that while you're on here. You just tap that red subscribe, and when it goes solid, you are part of the Mind Your Matters family, and I'm so happy to have you with us. We put up videos like this all the time, just about homeschool life in general, cleaning, cooking, anything that pertains to my family at this time, we make a video on, because that's Mind Your Matters. Oh, Duplo block. That's the way I like it around here. So I'm so thankful you joined us. Share as well if this video would be a blessing to your friend that homeschools, or just someone who likes to read with their children, and whatever you feel would be an encouragement to them. Go ahead and just press share, copy the link, text it to them. Send it to their phone and say, hey, I thought this was great. Why don't you go ahead and, take a look whenever you have time. That's what I like about YouTube. It is on demand. Does that make sense? And I'm very thankful for it. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, I'm Amanda Jane. I have 4 children, 8 and younger, and I desire to mind our matters so that we can spend more time on what matters. And today it was reading aloud a missionary story about Hudson Taylor. So I'll link this book below, and some other ones that I do enjoy, and some we're going to enjoy in the future that I already have in my library. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a blessed day. You want to say bye, guys? Bye. See you next time. Another item I forgot. Oh boy. If you're trying to throw in some lightheartedness in a difficult situation as you're reading the story, just go ahead and start making up sentences that are absolutely wild. For the first time he felt he left London, and he really felt like one of the crowd. He jumped on a giant elephant and decided to go play with the birds and monkeys in the trees. And when he started flying through the sky like an eagle, he went ahead and put on a red plumed top hat and sang Jesus Loves Me 14 times. I don't know. They all start laughing. It's kind of funny.